Okay, so I'm going to spread through these cards right here. And as I do, I just want you to tell me when to stop, and we'll select a group from there.
Stop.
So right in here somewhere?
Yeah.
All right, do you want this card, or this card?
The third one.
The one on this side or over here?
The closer to your thumb.
That one?
Yeah.
All right, watch. All right, so. Got it?
Yep.
Okay. Oh! I think I messed up. I have to find your card, don't I? Let me see. Do you remember what your card was?
I do. That was it.
Okay, now, that was just the first part. That was me making a mistake. Okay.
Where'd it go?
Where did it go?
Very nice. Very cheeky.
All right, we are recording.
Welcome to Cunnilingus with the Conjuror. I'm so do you want me to introduce you as Mystic Slybaba?
Yeah.
Welcome to A Conversation with the Conjurer. I'm Daniel Rivington. With me always is Alex Johnson. And today with us we've got a very special guest, Mystic Slybaba. Nice to talk to you, Mystic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm honored to be here, you guys.
Great to have you on.
Shall I call you Mystic Slybaba?
You can call me whatever you wish. I have 1,000 names.
What if we just call you Slick Daddy?
I liked what he said. So whatever you wish. If I just refer to you as whatever you wish from now on. So
As you wish.
That's it. Now, we haven't actually had a podcast in a while now, and it's really great to have you on. We usually ask a bunch of the same questions, but I think we're going to go a little bit off script here today, because one thing that I found interesting about your page was shit, can we start again?
It's late. Let's just keep it rolling, man. So Mystic.
You can edit. You can edit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. So
you ain't gonna edit shit.
I'm not editing nothing right now, because I mean my computer it's all the way in California still. Haven't got it here, so I'm having to use the computer. But anyway, so I was on your live the other day, and we were talking about some pretty interesting concepts. From you're a traveling. What do you call it? I don't want to call you a gypsy, but a traveling mystic. For one, your history, but you're also working as a magic teacher. And like on Fridays, you have a little live where you have people come on and talk. Do you always do open discussions like that?
Yeah, on Fridays, it's just a time for me to give back to the community. You know, I appreciate having even one person like my video or a comment. You know, and I've got quite a few people that really interact with me and engage with me. So it's just a way for me to get a chance to interact with them and also show a little bit of how I go about doing my teaching.
You were giving some pretty solid advice, though. Somebody was asking you about performing along with music, and then I think my question was, you know, how to script. So I think the topic was scripting. We were talking about scripting.
Yeah.
And
go
ahead.
I think that it's an incredibly important aspect to, even though I perform silently, there's a subcontext, you know, that I have in my mind about what I'm doing. And the story is there, even though it's not being presented vocally. So I think magic should have a story, you know, even if it's not verbalized. So scripting is incredibly important in magic.
How would you?
Do you want to go first?
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
How do you curate the tricks that you put into your act? Like what when you learn a new trick or something like that, what makes you think, okay, I'm going to put this into the act?
Well, when like social media has changed how I've dealt with that, but in a live situation in my professional career, I always look to find an effect that I truly enjoy myself watching, you know, that I know gets a good reaction, you know, from the spectators. And then I will practice it. I'll figure out a way to make it my own. And if I can't figure out a way to put it into my act through my character, my presentational style, then I'll just work on in background. I don't actually incorporate it into my live set, but I'll still be working on it.
And so has the silent performance, is that a new thing that's came in response to the COVID quarantine and everything?
It definitely jump-started that. It was always the end goal for me. I had like a 5-year, 3-year, 10-year goal I've written down, and one of them was to have a full stage show where I present at FISM and the different you know, contests, right, for the brotherhood and, you know, the society. As a magician, I want to be able to present my magic and my style of magic, you know, to the world in some way, my artistic expression of the art. And I feel that silent magic is so international and appealing, you know, that, you know, magic is so strong it doesn't really need us to talk over it. So you can just watch it happen. But now that the pandemic hit, my career went down the commode, you know, and I stopped being able to perform.
Yeah.
It gave me license to go ahead and do that. You know, I didn't need to be paid to talk and make them laugh anymore. I didn't have to do those same commercialized tricks that would, you know, I could do what I wanted to do instead, and then present it in a way that would make it appealing to everybody. So my style completely changed. I was a very serious magician. I mean, I threw in jokes and had humorous remarks, but after the pandemic, I think that the psychology of the world changed. And I think that it needed someone to laugh at, laugh with, and, you know, be fun and make magic fun and connectable. And so I changed my character to be this silly little, you know, Tommy Cooper, the fool, playing magic, you know.
Do you ever go out and, you know, perform on the streets like that? Like now things are starting to open up a little bit more.
No, I have was born premature, so my lungs aren't developed fully, and so I get pneumonia. I have pneumonia right now. I've had pneumonia since November, so I can't come in contact with people at all. So,
Oh
like I
wow.
said, my career is gone. I am
Yeah.
no longer a magician. I'm a teacher of magician. You know, I'm a magician on social media, but I will not be able to do close-up performance anymore
Wow.
until they figure out some way to keep me from dying. So, yeah,
So do
that's my situation.
you care to kind of run through, like you said you're a magician teacher, so like what types of things do you teach? What all do you know? Like, you know a lot about card magic, coin
Yeah.
magic, mentalism.
And how would people be able to maybe join with you and learn magic?
Well, you know, my website, mysticslybaba.com, has a little access portal so you can contact me. I'm building a community on Instagram, and they can come on Fridays, Friday mornings, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock p.m. and a.m. on Fridays, and I'll have a couple hours where I sit and talk, so they can get the insight on my philosophy, if my teaching style is suitable to them, and if they're, you know, what I have to offer is something they're looking for. And what makes my style of teaching different, I would think, than others, is that I don't try and teach you another trick. I just try to make your magic stronger, make your magic better. I want you to enjoy what you're doing. I don't want you to copy me. I want to make it your magic. And so I create routines from the floor up for them, suited to them. I create technical sleights to fit their mannerisms, to fit the way they naturally hold their cards, so that it looks better, right, in their hands, than trying to do something that they're just copying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's something that I try and focus on, is
So it's
trying to
more than
make it
just
more
learning,
natural.
then. Really, it's more of a consultation, isn't it?
It really is. It's really, that's what it is. They're bringing me what they've got. I refine it, help them make it better. Some of them are coming to me completely new, fresh students, never done sleight of hand more than 3 months, and now you should see it. You know, he's about to create a routine to join the Magic Castle, right? And he's only been performing for less than 6 months,
That's awesome.
right? So it's, you know, what you're willing to give, you're willing to get, you know, you're going to get in return. So
Since you're not really able to get out and about so much, how is your primary way of reaching people? Just through Instagram?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
right
actually how
now,
I found you.
yeah, I've tried Facebook, I've tried YouTube, I've tried Reddit, I've tried all these other platforms. It seems like Instagram clicked somehow. I don't
Yeah.
know why, it just clicked. And I think I had a goal at the beginning of the year where I set a 365 challenge for myself, where I was going to post something every day on Instagram, and it just snowballed. You know, from me just posting my pictures of my card collection, you know, my book collection, and then once the situation started happening, I figured I would start performing magic on Instagram, and then it really took off.
How long have
And
you had your Instagram? Just curious.
just since the beginning of the year, I did
That's
started at the
awesome.
beginning of the year,
Yeah.
and just been doing it every day since.
So, if things continue to go the way they are with the COVID situation, um, what other avenues do you think magicians are able to take to be able to make magic their livelihood while also not maybe performing for people?
That is a deep philosophical question that we should all be facing right now as magicians. And there's two sides to this, and it'll depend on the level that you were at when this all went to crap, you know? And that's the saddest part of it, you know? To get anywhere now, you had already had to have been somebody, right? And it's sad, right? But at the same time, if you're unique and completely out of the box, you're going to get noticed. right now more than ever, because everybody has nothing else to look at, right?
Yeah.
And if you're unique, right, and you stand out, then it doesn't matter if you were already famous, you will become so. You're going to get noticed because, you know, the variety of options they have now, right? The famous people don't want to participate online as much now as they did. It's the thing that they've been ingrained with them for so long, that they've been objecting to it for so long, that they would have to like do an ego squash, you know, to start performing for YouTube now, or performing on Instagram. But I'm seeing it. Michael Amar's on Instagram now. You know, some of these other big guys are starting to post on Instagram now. And it's because they don't have the option. They don't have the choice. So moving into social media, moving into a way to get yourself out there. People want to be entertained. If we can't afford uh, entertainment, we need to be able to give it away for free, right? Nobody's got money right now. And for me, a lot of my consultations are just friendly advice. You know, I have few paying students, which is sad, but I understand that, and I'm willing to accommodate, you know, but not completely. You know, I have to limit the amount of people that I give it away for free. That's why Fridays happen.
So what was
So
your history like growing up and learning magic?
I was born and raised a believer in real magic, you know, deep esoteric magic, and was raised by mystics. So one side was mystics, like in the form of like the gypsies, and they did tarot readings, and were superstitious and did rituals and things like that. And then on the other side, complete apostolic Pentecostal mystic Christians. You know, I watched them dance with snakes and talk in tongues and do weird, things that you would think were just magic. They're magic, right? So for me, it was a dichotomy, and I was told that magic was real, but it was bad, and to stay away from it. And so until I was in college, the only magic I ever saw, my dad did the 21 card trick to me.
That's a good one.
Right? Yeah, man. And he blew me away every time, because he would figure a way to do it different every single time. The reveal at the end was always different, and he'd mess with me all the time, and I never could figure it out. He never taught me. And so that always bugged me. And when I got into theater, we had to do some kind of thing where we were doing a forced perspective and illusion for the background set, because I'm an artist and a painter. And so I started getting into books on illusion, and right. And then it led me into books on stage magic and magic manipulation and that sort of thing. So I studied a lot of that in college for theater. I never really practiced sleight of hand, but I studied the philosophy of magic for theater. And then after I went on a long spiritual journey through trying to figure out what was really going on, it led me to many different things, where I saw many things, real magic, mystical stuff. And but I joined the Masons, and they their goal is a charity and to give back to service to the community. And in college, I was studying to be an art therapist. And so I was going to go into retirement homes and hospitals and stuff like that, and do painting and art therapy and stuff like that. And so as part of the Shriners, they have these clowns that go into the hospitals, and they have fun with with sick children and stuff like that. And so I started picking up sleight of hand to become a clown. Right. And then it just became a passion where I've truly loved the art, and I got my first wow moments from people where they were just like, whoa, and so it really, it caused even more of a passion to learn the craft and dig deeper. And so it's been about 4 years that I've been practicing sleight of hand and studying it in a practical way, applied way.
Are you still an active lodge member?
Yeah, I'm the master of my lodge this year. I'm the master of 3 different bodies this year.
So, did you have any mentors when you started learning magic, or was it just the books?
I had nobody. I was just the books, and then I found YouTube, right, and learned some basic stuff there. Learned some bad basic stuff there, and had to relearn a bunch of stuff afterwards. But I've studied after the lockdown, after the world shut down. Everybody was stuck at home. Nobody had nothing to do. So I got to talk to all kinds of people, Jay Sankey and Dynamo and David Blaine. And I've taken lessons with Michael Vincent.
That's awesome.
So it's, right now it seems like a bad thing to say, but it's a good situation for you if you want to reach out and meet and talk to magicians right now.
So did you said
stuck at home.
You studied with them? Did you reach out to them on social media?
No, I just through social media.
Yeah,
we've contacted, you know what I'm saying, where we'll comment or they'll like a thing or comment back or direct message. Like Jay Sankey, pretty much every day we interact with each other on social media. It's pretty funny. He's hilarious,
Yeah.
One thing Alex always asks people, and you have already answered, funnily enough, is he always asks, "Do you believe in magic?" And is that still beliefs that you hold to be true?
Oh yeah. There's moments where I'm performing my cups and balls, right? Where I didn't move the ball, but the ball still went, right? Or one day I was putting the ball under the cup and I thought, wow, wouldn't that be weird if it went through the table and into the box that I was working on, right? And I was thinking, well, how is that would even be possible? And I opened the box and looked inside and the ball was already in the box. So I'm sure that as a working magician, any true working magician has practiced enough to where at certain moments, it seems like a miracle really did occur. Like you didn't even try to force it. That card came the exact way you needed it to come. Or they said the exact same, the thing they needed to say. Or it just happened on its own somehow. You didn't even try. And magic occurred. So I truly believe in real magic. I believe that it's possible that magic happens, and I've seen it happen.
But do you believe that it's possible to actually make the real magic like that happen consistently?
I think that depending on who you are, I've studied enough mystical stuff to know that this is not real and it's all illusion, and that through consciousness it forms. And so form can be malleable through consciousness. And people with high enough consciousness and control over it can change even what you see. They can make you look. Slidini, his consciousness made you see that coin. He saw it. You saw it. You could swear to seeing it as he pulled it across the table. And then he went, and it was gone. But you saw it. You saw it track all the way across. But it was never there. How did that happen?
Magic.
It was magic. That's right. Magic. So I truly believe it. I don't believe everybody's capable of it. I think that you are all capable of it. It's just not something that you practice,
There's been so many times whenever I would be messing around with cards and the guys. I'm drawing a brain cramp. Who are the 2 guys we talked to, Dan? The In Two Minds, yeah, them. They always say, I had a feeling, I had a feeling. You know?
Feeling, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Franco today. I met up with him today.
Oh, yeah, Franco?
Yeah, I saw him at the coffee shop. Well, long story, but I met him at the coffee shop anyway, and it was really good to see him. And we saw he saw I had a pack of cards on me, and we ended up doing tricks for each other.
Oh, yeah.
And then these two girls across the way were like clearly watching us, and
the
we're like, "Come over,
the
come
two
over,
weirdos
you know?
just playing cards inside the 7-Eleven.
Yeah. So me and him had a bunch of feelings, and it was like I was part of In Two Minds for a little bit.
It was like what?
It was like me and him were riffing backwards and forwards from each other, and it was a bit like almost like I was in Two Minds.
Oh, yeah. Then it'd be like, no. Trio.
Yeah, they're better than me, so it's so they don't need any help.
But anyway, getting back to the point that I was bringing up, they say just joking around and being seriously, I assume, is I have a feeling, And so one time, man, I swear, I had a deck of cards. It was a completely, shuffled deck, no stack or anything. And I was like, I wonder if I can find the aces. And I'm like, okay, oh, here's an ace right here. Pow, flipped it over. Sure enough, there was an ace. And I was like, I can do it again. Shuffle through. Oh, here's the next one. Found it again. I was like, whoa, that's weird. That's a weird coincidence. And then I just kept shuffling. It's like, yep, here's the next one. Found the third one. And then at that moment, I was like, no, it's impossible. I can't find the fourth. And sure enough, I didn't find the fourth. And so I was talking to Pete. I told Pete Turner about it. And he said, you should try to find the jacks. And that was his response to finding the aces. It's like, oh, you can find the aces is one. Now I'm trying to find the jacks.
Yeah. But see, you stopped yourself.
Yeah, I totally know. I know. I understand that. But, self-doubt,
Yeah.
But whenever you get into that position of knowing, whenever you know it's going to work, then it works.
That's right.
Oh, next time, you just fucking cheat, mate, because you're a magician.
Well, I mean, I was by myself.
Here's
you cheat yourself. You cheat yourself. That's the first step.
And the sad part would be, when it really does happen, they would still think it was a trick. They would never give you credit for it.
That's like Dan. Dan is like one of the ultimate skeptics, at least from the way he presents himself. I mean, I'm a firm believer. I believe in magic. It's like, I've seen too much shit happen. I believe in magic.
It's not that I don't believe. I just want to see first. And although, if you would call intuition magic, then I do believe in that to a degree, because I have sometimes things when you're doing mind reading routines or whatever, something like a little blurb will just come out your mouth, and you don't even realize that you thought of it. You don't even realize that they thought of it, but it was exactly what they were thinking.
Yep.
Or like I've been able to do stuff that I wouldn't be able to explain how it worked, like guess someone's mother's maiden name, or and it'd be a totally weird name that no one would guess.
Now, see, being able to guess someone's mother's maiden name, that's a big, that'd be a big deal, But what if you could know or guess someone's mother's, name in a different language without having any experience within that language? Now, that would be a true miracle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Either way, I didn't have any idea how it was coming to me, and it's not like it's all the time. It's just random moments. It's like when you come up with a trick, and all the cogs align in the right way, but you're not even really thinking about that. You're thinking about something else. You're thinking about, did I leave the Did I leave the oven on?
Yep.
You know, maybe you're driving your car, and then eureka, you weren't even trying to think about it, and for some reason it's just come to you, like your subconscious runs a
Yes.
train on its own, and it's got nothing to
It
do
does.
with what
It
your
does.
regular mind is thinking.
It does. And that's part of my training for my students is how to work that, how to engage that part of your brain so that it works better. Because if you can't come up with a solution and there's no one else around besides you, right? How do you train yourself to create that opportunity? You've got to work a muscle just like any other thing. If you don't work the muscle and you work that processor, then when you need it, it doesn't work as efficiently. Right.
One thing I've been trying to do to raise the sort of like, I suppose it's like ESP or whatever, like being able to guess whatever the top card is just sitting there with a deck of cards and trying to guess what the card is. And like, I think about 95% it's the color. The color's always right, and then maybe the suit's wrong, and maybe the thing's a little bit different. But you keep getting closer every time you do it, and there's obviously no way to really measure how well you're doing with it, other than just doing it over and over again until it gets better.
Whenever you know the answer, then you know. Like one night I was hanging out with my buddies, and like I had the cards, I was shuffling the cards, and I was going to show him a trick. And he's like, "What's that? What's the card? The very top card?" And I'm like, "I don't know." He's like, "No, you know." He said, "It's your card. You know, my birthday card, the King of Clubs, tattooed on my arm." And I was like, "Huh?" And I flipped it over. I was like, "Holy shit! How did you know that?" He never would answer. You know, he just knew.
Well, maybe he's a good magician. He just didn't tell you.
He's gonna come on the show though. Sometime.
Who's that?
Well, I mean, his name is Adam Head, but he wants to be on the show as a musician. You know, talking about magic and music and whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he was the one playing guitar in one of those videos that I posted before. But he's a true mystic though. Like, you know, he's super mystical. We used to do, you know, magic at parties and stuff together.
So, I saw that you did a collaboration deck. Would you like to go into detail about what sort of unique things are going into that deck?
Yeah, I reached out to Incantation Cards, and he had produced a deck, and it was all black. It was black border with white design. It was beautiful, but I told him, I said, I don't. If you'd have made those borders white, I could have used it as a magician, you know. And he was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you just flip it negative, and use black linings with white background." And he shot me an image. He's like, "Does this look right?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's perfect." And then he ran with it. And then I offered him the ability to have a magic edition, so that it would be designed for magicians by a magician. And so it's got a full marking system designed into it. It's got a one-way back design, like I just showed Alex, right? Mm-hmm. That's incorporated into the back of the design. It's marked for red and black, so you could do. I'm doing routines with it. I'm gonna do an out of this world routine. That's a mentalist, spiritualist type routine where you don't look at the face of the card. I don't look at the face of the card. Nobody looks at the face of the card. Do you know the out of the world? Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's
I performed it the way
I
saw David Blaine do it back in the day.
Yeah, and this one will be, you know, face down. And it's got a full marking system, so it's not a reader. Even at the end, you could hand it, they could look at it all day long, and they would never see it.
Even if
So,
you do the flick book test.
if you did that, you would see something, as you would. But if you didn't know the code, it wouldn't make any sense to you, right? So it's coded. It's an actual marking system. It's not
And
something that you could.
how quickly can you tell what card it is?
Pretty fast. Pretty fast because of the marking, the way that it's marked. It goes black to red. You'll know the suit instantly. And then you'll know if it's a high card or low card. You'll know if it's above 10 or below 10. You'll know if it's below 5, right? 1 to 5. And then you'll know whether or not if it's a 1, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, jack. All the aces will be instantly recognizable. All the jokers will instantly be recognizable because they'll be different. They'll stand out in the back.
So is that going to be your own deck or what?
No, it's just a collaboration. I designed the marking system for him, and I'll be doing the magic instructions that will go along with the tricks that you can do. I'll have suggestions that you can use the deck, how you can use it. So I'm going to do like a fortune teller, like a tarot reading, because it's like a mystic edition tarot type.
So there was a card where the front of it had like a image or logo, and then there was a bunch of images around it. Is that for a specific trick?
I don't know. On my page? Yeah, the one that has the hand, right? With a 9?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a gaff card that's going in there that will be a reveal for their card.
All right, cool. And is there going to be any other magician type stuff like double backers, dupes?
Yep, there's a double backer in there. I don't know if and the 9 of, I think it's the 9 of hearts, will be they'll be marked on the back, so you'll know which is your force card and which one is your gimmick.
Okay.
Right, so you'll know from the back whether or not you're set and ready to go. I don't remember if he's adding any other thing in there besides the double backer and the identical jokers.
Well, I only use a double backer for one thing. The one where the double backer is the same on both sides. I only use that for one thing. It's the Christ Force, and it's just so good. Have you seen? Do you know that one? It's I'm not sure if it was originally called that, but I think it's in Animan 202 Methods of Forcing, which is a book I picked up a long time ago.
Yeah, Animan's awesome.
Yes, I won't go into how it works, but we can talk about that afterwards, maybe. But,
yeah.
Just like this. Here, take it. Take that one.
It's the one. It's the one where you say pick a card, any card, and then you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a good one.
So the extent of my ability.
So let me ask you this: why do you think that most magicians? I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but many magicians completely, move away from talking about anything occult or esoteric or any of the real mystical shit that makes the performance so much better.
I think that it started with Houdin. He revolutionized the presentation of magic and created a new style of presenting it in a modern way so that it's not spooky or esoteric. And I think too, before him even, there was the extermination of anybody that professed anything occult or esoteric. So it has been stigmatized to the point of almost oblivion. And so the true practitioners are either hidden or they need to hide, you know, some way or another. And so when we present magic now, we don't have any teachers that present it in a way that's authentic to its root, right? So you don't have any role models presenting it in a way that they can emulate to begin with, right? So everybody's presenting it in a non-magical way. It's
You
fun.
said something. You said something that was really interesting the other day. You said if you're performing magic and you present it as it's just a trick, then what the hell's the point? You're just wasting my time. More or less something like that. It's like you said, it's like your responsibility as a magician to finish that sentence.
So I believe it's our responsibility as magicians to carry that moment of awe and wonder that incited into us the passion of magic, right? So when we watched for the first time someone present magic in a way that caused a true moment of astonishment and wonder, that propelled us, I don't know how many years, some people 20 years, 60 years, where their passion is driven by this one focus alone, right? What was it, right? It wasn't just another trick performed, right? It was a real moment of connection, astonishment, and wonder. And if we are not presenting that, we're not magicians.
Yep. And see, the first magician that I ever met in person, his name is Frank Deville. It took me like 7 years of searching to find out who he was and actually find out he actually has a YouTube and all that stuff. But he was performing on the streets of Nashville, and I never will forget. That's who really inspired me to start pursuing magic. But I mean, it took me several years, to find him. And then when I finally did find him, I was like, so I figured out a bunch of the stuff that you did, but I still don't know how you did the orange. And he was like, I don't want to even tell my wife how I did that one. But it's like, like you said, you're absolutely 100% correct. If you're not going the full distance, to make it be magical, then you're just like, hey, you're just some dude with cards that give with cards or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not saying or discounting entertainment value.
Yeah.
Just breaking up a moment of monotony with a little bit of something fun. But I think that in the essence, as magicians, we should strive to create that in our art. That we should have that down to a reasonable degree, so that at any moment, if someone truly needed a moment of awakening, you could provide that for them. In the context of a really deep esoteric conversation, you can illustrate something that needed to be seen to convey that message through a trick, but it will hold so much deeper meaning because it will have been in context. Does that make any sense? So rather than just being like, here, let me show you something.
Yeah.
And breaking up the conversation, it should be incorporated in.
Right. Like when I first was starting to learn, I always was wanting to show people things and everything. And now it's kind of like, I don't really show things unless somebody asks me, or if I'm just like, really feeling compelled.
Yeah, if you're inspired, like we were talking about before, if it comes up, we were talking about luck, right? Or chance or fate. Then you could, I got the perfect effect. And you can run through your pocket. Here, let me show you something. And then show them something and then put them away, because you had something that went along with what you were talking about, fate.
You don't want to beat a dead horse, as they say. You don't want to drive it to the ground. So they're like, all right, guy, get away from me.
Yeah, I don't want to see another one, but if it happened organically and it fit the situation and you put them away, then maybe they'll say, hey, man, can you show us another one? Right. So I'm just saying that ultimate goal, though, as a magician, is to share that moment of wonder that we had with
See,
magic.
like here's one thing that I have difficulty really scaling and judging. Like, I know how the things that I do are the method behind it. And so there's no way for me to really be able to completely intellectualize the way that it's perceived from their end because it's difficult to go back and remember how it was, then how do you, in your performances, how are you able to, I guess, increase the effectiveness and the efficiency of your magic without being able to step outside of yourself to really be able to know what the other person knows, which you'll never know.
So it goes back to what I say to my when he was asking, what do I do with my students? I say, if you don't truly enjoy what you're doing first, right, they're not going to enjoy it. So if you weren't awed by the magic that you perform, then you will never recreate that awe. It'll be fake awe. It'll be a, oh, well.
Yeah.
But if you've truly ever experienced that moment of wonder, then you can remember it. You can replay it in your consciousness. And then you can set it onto that moment. So if you perform a piece of magic that truly floored you when you saw it, you'll know what they're feeling when you see it.
Yeah.
In their faces, you'll go, ah. When I dropped my rope for the first time, and it goes back together in midair. When they watched, they cut it.
Yeah.
And it performs this connection right back to where it was, split second. That moment of awe and wonder, right, that created in me when I was a kid, when I was like, wow, right? That same thing, I will try to remember and present that too in my own expression of going, whoa. Because part of the philosophy I've learned from Jeff McBride, he says that even Michael Vincent will say, we don't know how to react when we truly have that magical moment. We're stunned. We sit there. Your brain goes off. You don't even wonder how it was done. You're just like, whoa. I've been to the moment of tears before where it was just like, oh, I didn't care. It was just wonder and joy and awe. But you're stunned. You don't know how to act. You don't know how to react. And so as a magician, too, we need to pass that information along. Right? So if you watch how I act in my performances on YouTube and Instagram, is that I'm also in wonder. I'm also in awe. And I don't know. I don't know how it happens. It just does this thing, this crazy cool thing. I don't know. If I do this, then that happens. It's awesome. I don't know. So if we express joy and awe at that moment, right, then they're going to emulate us. It's a psychological process where they mirror you. And so if you go...
So, because you come from a performing background, would you say that's very similar to method acting?
Yes. Yeah, I disassociate myself from what I'm doing. And that comes from practice.
Yeah, I always pretend that that not only is it a new experience for them, but it's also a new experience for me.
Yeah, it has to stay fresh for you, or it'll become monotonous to them halfway through the performance too. If it's canned and you're just not enjoying it, right? If you don't really enjoy what you're doing and you're not passionate about it, if you watch somebody like Matt King, Lance Burton, David Copperfield, they're masters of their craft, dude. And they are really there in that moment. They're on stage with that person and it's authentic and it's in the moment, even though they've done it 10,000 times a year. And it's exactly the same way every single time. When you watch Slydini pull that coin back and pull it out like this, he's doing it for the first time, even though he's done it 10,000 times a day. And that's the difference between a legend or a master of their craft and then somebody that's just, a hobbyist or does tricks.
You said that you've got a background in art psychotherapy. Or is it art therapy, art psychotherapy?
Yes. Art and psychology.
My partner's actually doing a degree in that right now. Have there been any points where there's been crossover and it's helped out with the magic, or where magic has actually helped out with psychotherapy?
Yeah. Choice of not using red rope.
Okay.
All right. Rather than red rope, I use white rope. It's a
What's the difference?
psychologically, it's just red is not a easy color on the eyes. It causes stress. It causes tension. It causes worry, and it causes obsession over it because it's tracking. Your brain doesn't want to go away from the color red. So I don't use red cards in my act. I use blue backs. Okay, so these are things that I've made as a psychological perspective. Certain aspects of my magic definitely have been affected by my psychology and my understanding of psychology, and perspective and all kinds of stuff dealing with art too interrelates with magic. So there are quite a bit of things that I use in my patter. Right, I lead them. Right, kind of like cold readers do, to give me information that I want to hear from them, but then it makes it sound like they gave it voluntarily when I'm really forcing what I need on them.
In your growing up, did the people that you grew up with, did they do like cold reading and fortune telling and things like that?
Yeah, I did. I was raised by people that did, I do palm readings and card readings and that sort of thing. I've watched psychics. I've watched people do the Ouija and ritual and that sort of thing too. I've watched them, even the Christian ministers, right, do the same thing where they'll pull someone up on, and they'll tell them their whole life story right there without them opening their mouth. And so, yeah, I've watched and I've learned a lot of things from that background too.
I learned a lot of cold reading from Morgan Strebler. He had a DVD on cold reading. We just had him on recently. Really nice guy. And he does palm reading when he does cold reading. Sort of the like cold reading is something that goes along with some other sort of either one that's a mancy. It's got mancy on the end of it. Like palm
cartomancy,
palm reading, cartomancy, tarot, divination in some form or other. Have you applied
and that goes back to whether or not, what is it? Was it magic before we called it science? Was it magic before we understood what it was?
Do you still perform readings for folks?
Oh yeah, I do. Like I go to. I used to. I don't do now because I can't touch nobody. I can't be near them. But I used to do trade shows with the Wicca and the crystal people and all that stuff. The hippies. You'd go
New Age,
and you'd set up a booth. Yeah, the New Age crowd, and I would do palm readings and card readings and stuff like that, and then sell them crystals and rocks and have fun.
You would love it here. Look at all the rocks behind me here.
I know. I was looking at them earlier.
A lot of this is like all Indian relics, found here on the farm.
That's awesome.
Tomahawks, plows, a whole drawer full of arrowheads, crystals. This is the crystal room here. It's like, do you feel that energy?
Are there any are these stones that are supposed to give you bad energy or like negative side effects and stuff?
Yeah, crystal meth.
Yeah, crystal meth. And then,
asbestos.
Asbestos, insulation.
Plutonium.
Crystal. Plutonium, uranium, the lead. There's so many. Mercury.
Yeah, you think I could start a crystal selling place and just start selling nuclear byproducts?
Yeah, they actually have those actually exist. If you want to buy,
Oh, really?
you can buy depleted uranium on the internet.
Ew.
I mean, it's no longer radioactive. I don't know why you'd want it, but unless you just have a penchant for former radioactive elements or something.
Uh,
Right. Do you believe in aliens?
yes.
The truth is out there.
Yes.
Do you believe in
I
aliens
believe
in the sense that we've been visited, or do you believe in the sense that the universe is infinite and because of the law of infinity, there must be some other life form out there because of the
both. Because one can't happen without the other. It's like chicken and the egg sort of thing.
The chicken came first.
Right. How are we here? All right.
Yeah, see, that's the way I try to talk to people to prove magic. It's like I don't believe in magic. It's like, okay, where'd you come from?
Yeah.
My mama. Where'd she come from?
Let's go back. Let's
My
go way
grandmama.
back. And I believe that we are genetic descendants from aliens that crossed our path once before. There is a sister star to our star that's dead. It no longer produces light, and it's still spinning around. It comes past us about every 28,000 years or so, and it causes the precession of the equinoxes. And when that happens, their visitation occurs. And so every time that occurs, some great catastrophe happens.
What's precession of the equinoxes? I know what an equinox is, but I don't know what the precession is.
At a certain point, the sun changes in its axis like we change on our axes. Mm-hmm. And so it will cause a change in its position in the stars when it rises. So if you're standing and you're watching as the stars rise, right, you see the field of stars rise in the night. At a certain point, the sun will pop up in that field of stars. And then every day, if you watch it, it changes its position. Mm-hmm. Right? And then over time, you'll see the equinox. The equinoxes will happen just like the solstices happen at certain times when it's coming up. And then at a certain time, it will drift. It drifts away. It goes all the way around the zodiac, right? From Aries to Leo to Pisces, all the way down.
So do you know a lot about the zodiac?
Aquarius.
Okay, see, that's what I was wondering.
We're in Aquarius right now. So the sun is rising in Aquarius right now, whereas before it was rising in Pisces. And during the age of Pisces, that was the age of the fishes. So the avatar was represented as a fish, right? And his story was all about the fishes. He was a fisherman, right? And he fished of men and all these things. So that story, the fish, right, is the sun during that time. And before that, it was Aries, where they were killing people. They were sacrificing humans, right? Blood, war, all these things, right? It was a temple. They would cut the animals and they bleed them out. Okay.
So how long is the cycle you're talking about? Like each?
I think it's 28,000 years. It goes all the way around in a cycle. And the procession it's called the procession of the equinoxes.
See, I've always wondered about astrology, how they do the readings. Like, oh, you're born and Mars was in what the hell ever. So it's like, how do they calculate that? It's based on science, tracking the stars, but the map, the sky map, and to be able to understand it, and how they have, correlation between, where Saturn was or Mars.
Well, I was asked whether or not how that works, as a mystic, and how do I explain that, and I say that the energy field in relation to other objects, even in science, causes an interaction. So when one thing is next to another, it causes, it to be affected, period. That's how it works. So the arrangement of these things causes a particular energy field at that time and at that place, so that you came into the world in that field of energy, and that will have an effect on you. Right?
I mean, yeah,
So,
I mean, I believe it, but what's weird though is how, like, you know, every single person is so vastly different. You know, and I've met someone that was born on the same birthday as me, and
yeah.
you know, completely no similarities at all.
But where on the planet were they born
California.
during that time? See,
Yeah.
you were born on a different place,
Yeah.
and their sky was different than yours.
Does the Chinese year have anything to do with it, do you think?
The year itself doesn't really change. We gave it significance. The pattern of the moon and the position of the sun, where it rises, is all that is important, right? So we denote that this day is January the 1st. It's arbitrary.
What was the calendar before
That's
the Gregorian calendar? What was the calendar that was
Yeah.
used? Do you know?
Yeah, no, because they erased it. They no longer used it. I know that there's still some places that they didn't go to BC. The Yiddish still don't call it 2020. They have their own year.
See, that's another thing about, you know, like society and the way that our culture, you know, has raised us and taught us. It's like, oh, you know, this is the year 2020. It's like, well, not in Taiwan. In Taiwan, you know, their year's the year 100 and something, because it's based off of their, you know.
Yep.
So it's like
5,333 or something like that right now.
Yeah, it's like some of the most important things to help you kind of get an understanding of the concept of time and differences between cultures. They don't even ever go into different calendars. It's like, we don't know, so let's just not talk about it.
Yeah. And it's just based on where the sun is. And it's a way of trying to understand what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it becomes problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Is because different cultures see it different. You know, our sky is different than your sky, you know, at certain times of the year. So we will have a disagreement. And so ultimately it comes down to a larger perspective. We have to look at it from a larger perspective.
I like it.
So,
I like it a lot. I like your philosophy and perspective.
Like, who says that? I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. I like it.
Charlie.
It's Jim Carrey, but I can't remember what movie it is.
The Dumb and Dumber, I think.
It might be. Like where it goes, oh, you're from Austria? Oh, put another shrimp on the barbie, mate.
I love Jim Carrey.
It's so good. That film was written really well.
Yeah, I like good writing.
I've heard they're going to be doing another.
And that's why I chose comedy.
I've heard they're going to be doing another Ace Ventura.
Really?
Yeah. So I've read. I mean, usually the buzz on these things is somewhat correct. You know,
There's that one.
It's going to be problematic.
There was the one rumor that was going around that Jim Carrey was going to play Terence McKenna, and they never did make that one. That was just a joke.
I don't know who that is. Is that some evangelical Christian dude?
No, Terence McKenna was the psychedelic, you know, hippie that, you know, was promoting like LSD and stuff. Wrote a lot of books about it. And then he ended up dying of brain cancer. And before he died, he was saying about how like just watching an ant crawl across the concrete bring him to tears because he was so happy to be alive for the short amount of time that he was.
Yeah.
So not that guy then.
Oh.
Yeah. I was thinking more of like a Benny Hinn type of guy. You know what I mean?
That would be
like,
hilarious to watch.
Conversation with the Conjuror. featuring a true mystic, Mystic Slybaba. This has been a cool talk. I've had a lot of
What's
fun.
that sign of my birthday's on Thursday.
Well, happy birthday. What sign? What sign? Let me think. What is this? Would you be Libra?
Yeah, I think it's the first day or the second day of being a Libra. My grandmother is really into horoscopes, and she's deep into Buddhism as well. And so, like, she's taught me all the stuff around it and stuff, but it's gone straight over my head because it's not something that particularly ever felt true to me. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think that the explanation of it may have not rang true to you. Not that it was not true to you. It's just that the way that it was explained was not yet sufficient for you to say, oh yeah, that's exactly the way I believe that it is. Right? And so we as seekers are always trying to find an affirmation for the truth we already know. And if it's not being presented in a way that rings true to us, we don't accept it. Even if it is true, it's just not the way they explained it wasn't correct.
Now, Now, when you look at a horoscope, for example, and a lot of the information might be incorrect or not ring true with you, would you say that's more the fault of the horoscope or what do you think that falls on? What do you think that relies on? Because I've always thought if something is supposed to be the way it is and it's set in stone, then it should apply every time. You know what I mean? Like, if you've done cold reading, you know about Barnum statements, and you probably know about is it Forer experiment? So when reading about those things, does that not make you think that maybe a part of it is bullshit? Or do you see where I'm going with it? I'm not really ever articulate.
You have to have the right language to be able to explain it, to even be able to talk about it.
I've not really ever articulated it before, you see.
Right. And I understand what you're saying. And it goes back to what we were talking about with Alex before, is because once you know the method, it takes away the magic. And then it's hard for you to feel that moment of awe and wonder genuinely. And so knowledge can be a bad thing. If we think we know something to be true, then we don't accept when it comes from some other source. Right? So we'll limit our ability to accept it as truth because we already say it's bullshit. So we're limiting ourselves to look at how it possibly could be true. Right?
What does it mean to be a mystic?
But is that as opposed to it being impossibly true?
So if something is completely false, right, then it's obviously completely false. But if something's so enigmatic that it could be possibly, if you look deep enough, right, you might find some correlation. I know that the readers, the ones that write the horoscopes, might be bullshit. And they're just coming up with a generalized statement to fill a page for the day. They might not be real.
Because who checks their credentials to be able to get the job? It's like,
that's right.
Hey, I'm a horoscope reader, and then the people at the newspaper, well, they don't know the difference. It's like,
yeah, I read a book, I watched a YouTube video, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. So it could.
I watched part of the YouTube video. I watched part of it. I watched the first minute. I
fast-forwarded to the end, and
I watched the good bit. The rest of it.
So it comes to. I'm not saying that all magicians are wizards. You know, I'm not
All the
saying
good
that,
ones are.
you know, right. I'm not saying that all yogis are true mystics, right? I'm not saying that all astrology readers know what they're talking about. But if we are willing to look deep enough into the mystery, right, then we will see the answers we seek. Because you yourself are the universe, and the universe wants you to find it, you, right, in it. So if you're looking for it, you're going to look deep enough, you're going to start being reflected back. You're going to start seeing the reflection. You're going to start seeing your ability to control through your mind. You're going to start seeing these. It's not just coincidences anymore. You know, it happens so many times. Why do we still get shocked when it happens?
Yeah. It's like I've noticed. I was telling Frank Young, who is a big bodybuilder guy. I don't really know how to explain him, except for he's like a bodybuilder guru guy.
Lifestyle coach.
Yeah, like a lifestyle coach. I met him in Taiwan, but anyway, I was talking to him and he was talking about enlightenment, saying similar to things like you were saying. And I mentioned to him, it's like sometimes after I wake up from a very, very deep sleep, like, really deep REM sleep, then I'll wake up with this just complete clarity. It's like, oh shit, I know what the universe is. I know what's going on. And then as I get started busy without my day and everything, then that thought and feeling fades. Because it's not really necessarily a thought, but it's like a connection, or
I call
maybe
it's a state of being.
yeah, state of being. But I guess maybe that's my consciousness coming back to
Yes.
take control over, the situation instead of just being like off in dream dimension,
And
whatever that is.
it's you have it, but it's backwards, right? Your conscious was there, and then
Yeah.
as you started waking up, your body, your mind, your intelligence, your ego, all these other things started taking control.
Yeah.
That moment of clarity was your pure consciousness. The rest of it becomes the distraction.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you have to have that distraction because that's what keeps the body, alive.
Yeah, you have to eat.
Yeah, I got to get up. Oh, damn it! I
Gotta
got to go
pull.
to work and pick up my paycheck. These bills ain't going to pay themselves.
And see, that's when you ask, what's the definition of a mystic, right? It is the consciousness done in action that changes something from material to spirit. So a mystic is no different than a normative person. It's just a state of consciousness they're acting in.
Interesting.
I might have misheard that the something consciousness. Do it again.
That was some deep shit. Say that again.
I was really trying to pay attention, and then there was some noises upstairs, and I didn't hear it properly.
All right. I got birds screaming in the background too. Okay, so a mystic is no different than a normal person because we have to act. The only difference between a mystic and a normal person is the consciousness that we act in.
But couldn't that be the truth about anything? It's like, well, an actor
Yes.
is nothing but a normal person. The only difference is the consciousness that they act in.
Yes.
A magician is no different, or anything.
Yes. If they are consciously aware of the fact that they are performing magic and perfect that performance, they're a magician for that moment. But they're still a normal person.
I feel like
Right.
I've been a magician like my entire life. Like even as just a little kid, wanting to do little silly magic tricks. But it's like I guess as time has went on, I've become more aware of my life purpose.
Reality is a suggestion.
It's a suggestion.
I reject reality and substitute my own. All right, Dan.
Yeah.
What card am I holding?
Birthday card.
It's somebody's birthday card.
Is it an 8?
Close.
7.5.
Close.
No, 7 of spades.
Oh, it's
I can't see it.
Ace of diamonds. My dad's birthday card. So you weren't wrong.
Well, you can't win them all.
Somebody's card.
Yeah.
I thought it might be the Ace of Hearts, but obviously it's not the Ace of Hearts. It's the Ace of Diamonds.
Oh,
wow.
That's good.
Very slick. But yeah, I guess usually
I've been playing around with that. With some ideas that I got after messing around with this thing, and and then reading the Juan Tamariz book about the true order of life and chaos and things.
Yeah, mnemonica, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Juan is a genius. And you know what I laugh about all the time? I think it's so funny. And I tell people this all the time, is that, magicians, they really underplay certain things, and they overlook the power of certain things, like self-working card tricks and key cards. And you have to pay $3,000 or more sometimes, right, to sit at a table with him and watch him teach you a self-working card trick and how to use a key card. I ain't joking.
$3,000?
No. Yeah, to sit with a personal lesson with Juan Tamariz and him teach you a self-working card trick.
You know what? It's probably worth every penny.
Oh, yeah, because
you take it more seriously. It's like,
you know why? Because guys like that can make, because he's not thinking about the method, he's thinking about the effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's not thinking about whatever stupid thing you have to do to make the trick work. He's thinking about the trick itself.
That's right. And that's what I instill in my students, is that the spectator knows nothing about the method. They don't care about the method. Maybe they'll wonder about the method, but they don't know. So if as long as the method takes the least amount of concentration and the least amount of focus, and you can focus on presentation rather than trying to get the perfect angle for your double lift and turnover and your pass and all that, you're not going to be able to be in the moment, and you're not going to be able to present it in an authentic way, because you're going to be stumbling and bumbling and sweating. It's going to be awkward and weird, and you're going to pause for a second and then come back to it. So if you can erase or remove any of that stuff along the way by adding a double-faced card in your deck, right, or stack it ahead of time, then you're golden.
I just
get a short card somewhere.
Just cheat altogether. You just spend Gala deck or a one-way deck.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't care. They just want the feel the magic. They want to be in the moment with you and feel that moment of wonder and awe. And if you can do it the cleanest, most impossible way possible, why not go for it? We still carry around the invisible deck. We all feel guilty about it. No. Because it's a miracle effect in the eyes of the spectator, right? If presented properly, the invisible deck, anyway. So
I've seen some magicians get that one wrong, and
I don't do that. Can you imagine an invisible deck and then hand them? I don't present it that way.
Yeah.
Well, I tell them the name of the card trick.
I do it more as like a mind control thing, where I say, now I turned one card in this pack upside down. Now I could try influence you to think of that card, but that's not how this works. How this works is by fate. And I'm not going to suggest anything to you. You're just going to think of a card, and you're going to say it out loud. And if I'm really lucky, it'll be the card that I turn around. So,
that's a wonderful premise.
So it's more like
Real magic.
Like he didn't do anything, but
No, that the universe conspired against them to make them feel like they had free choice, which they never did. It's fate. That's fate for you, buddy. So they walk away with an actual deeper consciousness than they did before they had this trick imposed on them. So it's meaning. It's a deeper meaning. It's a wonderful presentation. I like that.
there's a bunch of different ways to do it in there. Like you could go down the I'm using mind control route to, make you think of this card. Then there's also like you could use it. You can use it to get out of other things. Like let's say I've got
you lost your card. You lost your break.
So let's say, for example, I asked you to think of a value for a playing card, and it could be any playing card value. For example, a value just meaning like how a king is higher than a queen. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So every different playing card's got a value. I'm not asking you to think of the suit, just a value, right? Okay. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to change your mind. So if you were thinking of a number, I want you to think of a picture card, or if you were thinking of a picture card, I want you to think of a number.
Okay.
And then I tell you what, we're going to make it more random. If now you're thinking of a number card, I want you to switch it to another number card, or if you're thinking of a picture card, like a male court card, switch it to a female court card.
Okay.
And then think of the best suit that you can to fit this card.
Okay. Okay.
Right. You're not thinking of a black card here?
No.
You're not thinking of a diamond here?
No.
You're not thinking of a number card here?
No.
If I had your card here, would that be nice? Now, it doesn't really matter what the card is. It doesn't really matter what the card is because then you could use the not the way I've just presented it now, but the you could sort of have it as a backup plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
You were thinking of that though, yeah?
Oh yeah. You led me right down that garden path.
It was magic. but
that was awesome. That was cool.
It's not mine. It's got a low battery. It's not mine. It's one of Pete's things that he's come up with.
Peter
Turner.
Awesome.
He's someone I know. I've known for a year and a bit now, and every time I see him, it shows me something that either fools me or it fools me to begin with, and then I think back on how he did it, and maybe come up with either the right or the wrong explanation. But it definitely gets me every time, and that's what I love about hanging out with him. He's he's a fucking wizard.
Yeah, that's the one thing that as magicians we strive to find is a magician that will fool us.
Yeah, and it's really nice when you do find a guy that fools you every time. You know what I mean? Or at least most of the time, or a lot of the time.
You fool me pretty often, though.
Yeah, it's a bit easier.
Oh.
Sick burn, bro. Well, I'll take that compliment back, you shiesty rigger.
But to be fair, then I'll show you how it works. So it's not, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Hey,
I'm not very good at keeping secrets.
how many fingers am I holding up under the screen?
I got it. I knew it.
So did he. Well, shoot, man. Mystic, is awesome having you on the podcast here. Great to have you on for the welcome back to the podcast. You had a lot of really interesting and cool things to discuss and talk about. So you said you have a website, you have your teaching and your lessons and everything on. We'll link that down in the description.
Yeah, they can direct message me through Instagram as well, Mystic Slybaba, and go through my webpage.
Slybaba.com is the main address.
Yeah.
And so people can get in touch with you on mysticslybaba.com if they wanted to get in touch about a Zoom show or consultation lessons, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Or things like this where they want me to come and talk on their thing. I'll come and talk on their thing.
Awesome. So thanks for coming. Thanks for talking with us. For everybody at home who's managed to make it through this far, well done.
Well done.
I wouldn't have done it. So if you like this podcast, please can you like, subscribe, all those YouTubey things. But really, thanks for hanging around, and I hope everybody at home is as entertained by it as I have been, because I've actually really enjoyed having you on, Mr. Baba. So that's it. Just thanks for coming, and peace out. Hope you all have a good one.